Hey, thanks for watching Dee Dee Croy with My Favorite Groomer on YouTube. I am off of work now and I'm at home and it is still my birthday and we are replying. I was actually waiting for a response from a lady. I had asked for her phone number and I asked for permission to do this live. So I'm going to call her in a couple minutes. I'm going to read you her email to me. So many of you guys have written and I've answered your questions and I've said, can I use this on my YouTube channel and stuff like that? And you've said yes, and I will, and it consolidates stuff. But sometimes I do this one-on-one phone call if it's something I want to share. So I get an email at about noon, 1 o'clock today, my time, Texas time. And she says, hi, Dee Dee. I have been watching your videos on YouTube for a few months and have learned a lot. I have a service dog. I'm always burping, you guys. My goodness. I'm always just nibbling on something. I have a service dog, Hunter, due to spinal cord disabilities. We've had a mobile groomer come to our home for the last 15 months to groom him. Hunter is a 3-year-old lab with English lab in him, as his hair is longer than most other yellow labs. Every month she did nails, sanitary shave, de-shedding, and wash and dry. We have never had any issues. But over the last 2 months, she groomed. He shows signs of stress when she arrives. That last month, she brought him, hopefully you guys have background, it's got some Germany stuff, okay. Sorry. That last month, she brought him in and he was excited to see me. However, within a half hour, he was army crawling, rubbing against the walls and appearing in pain. My husband and I examined him and found deep red marks all around his chest and around his neck. We gave him Benadryl as we didn't know if he was reacting to a new product, etc. I immediately contacted the groomer and she confirmed she used everything she always uses with no additions. I asked if anything happened during the groom to cause the red marks and she stated no. That's the first thing you need to do. That's a good thing. She called right away. I would have honestly texted her the pictures if you did not text them, the ones you sent me. If you, hopefully you texted it to her and said, look at these, what are these, okay? Early the next morning, I was admitted to the hospital for emergency surgery, so we planned on getting him to the vet that afternoon. The redness was better, but I told our adult kids to keep him on Benadryl. I ended up admitted for another emergency surgery, so by the time we returned home, Hunter was completely fine. We were grateful for that, but disappointed we weren't able to vet him for an exam. I think your vet might have caught it, what it looks like to me, and I'll tell you my opinion. Again, I'm not there. I wasn't there. I've seen this before, and I'll give you a little story. We have this. I'm going to go on. She goes, we have shampoo. So it's just a shaver and a great pair of nail cutters. Maybe a shaver head for sanitary shave and a smaller head to shave down his pads. Our great friend is a vet tech, so she comes over once a month to cut his nails. Then I Dremel them to get rid of any sharp points. If you have any other thoughts on what would be useful, please let me know. I'm very sick with an autoimmune disease. It's called mast cell activation syndrome, MCAS, so I use a feeding tube and IV to live. Wow, my heart goes out to you, girl. I'm so sorry. That must be really tough. Thank you for your family being there to support you, too. I can't have anything scented or it sends me into anaphylaxis. Thanks for your help in putting together a few things to help us. Oh, I have strength grip issues, so the lighter the shaver, the better. Blessings to you, and I will add a tip to my purchases because you got stuck reading my long book. As for the tips, not necessary, but thanks. Laugh out loud. As for the photos below, they are from around the neck, along the chest, and he did have a red line around his front leg. P.S. The very red areas aren't showing as well in the photos as they truly were. It's really hard to capture the red, irritated brush burn, I say, or cuts. I mean, it's really hard to capture those on a camera, but I have seen it, I know. He doesn't love or hate baths, he just tolerates them. He jumps into the tub himself and turns around when needed, hands me his 4 paws, etc. He simply sits there patiently. Even if it's the vet, groomer, etc., very obedient, polite, and patient. Okay, so Miss Kelly out of Pennsylvania. Let me see if hold on one second. Okay, so here's can you kind of see what's going on here, you guys? We've got, this one is really bad. Let me look over here. This one has really got some hair missing. Deep, thick. I'm not sure what location of the body that is, but that's just really raw. If it was right after grooming, I hate to say it, but to me, especially this one here, definitely looks like, because this is a lab. This is not a matted dog. This to me is definitely brush burn. To me, this is my opinion. I'm not there. I never groomed the dog, never looked at the dog, don't know the groomer, don't know her tools, things like that. But again, like coming back to this one. So let me just say, there was a time I had was doing an interview, and what I used to do when I would have people come want to apply and work for me is do a working interview. And I had one lady who came in, I think in 3 days, I probably had 6 working interviews, right, to try to find someone to help me. And everyone that I try to hire had some kind of pet experience. Well, I remember this one lady I hired, no, I didn't hire her. I brought her on. It's just 1 hour. I just use somebody for about an hour, maybe a couple hours. I give them $20 and say thanks for your help, and I let them know if they're hired or that I want them working for me. And this one lady came in, and I didn't hire her. It was a German Shepherd. She helped me bathe and brush. And she brushed until I basically felt like I saw blood. You know, I was like, what are you doing? I was like, what? She wasn't even looking at what she was brushing. She was just going at it like crazy. So I'm really aware of brush burn and redness. It irritates the skin. It will rip all this, or will start tearing this hair out, like this one picture. So that's what I think it is. So we're gonna call Mom right now, and we're gonna go over what I think it is and let her know what I think it is. And again, I wasn't there. I can only look at these pictures, and I mean through email. It's not even. This is past. It's already gone. The situation's already healed, and if it was from that day, and those sores those redness and irritation sores were not there prior to the grooming, then it was something that happened that day at the grooming. At grooming, which can happen. They should be briefed though, or the person behind the brush should know what they're doing, or slow down. Or I brush, but there's a way I brush. It does not hardly even touch the skin. And if it's a white dog, especially, you have to be really like aware of it. Just shaving down a white dog yesterday. If you come too heavy-handed, it's just like you're constantly hitting your own, like moving your own body, and if the skin isn't used to it, you'll have some redness, but not raw open redness like hair missing. So all right, we're about to get Mom on the phone, and then we'll talk in a few. Okay, here we go. By the way, I'm looking at her order. She had already went and ordered all the stuff she needs.
Hello.
Hey, this is Dee Dee with My Favorite Groomer. Is this Kelly?
It is.
What's up? You're on video.
How are you, Dee Dee?
I'm doing great. Thanks for finding me. Thanks for reaching out to me and entrusting me with I know you've just gotten to know me through YouTube. You probably feel like you know me really well, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
I found you. I have really, you're very personable. I'm like, man, too bad she's way out in Texas.
I know. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, I learned a tremendous amount about dog grooming. Like I told you in my email, having 2 previous boxers, the reason I went with boxers was because I know that labs have long hair, and I was concerned about that. But because I didn't train with a private trainer, I went with an organization. For this one, they use labs, and it was totally fine. I went by the quality of the organization and not by the type of dog they use.
Okay.
And the hair, I swear, he had the longest lab hair in my training group, and I couldn't believe how much hair he leaves around the house. So, yeah, it's getting to be quite an experience learning more about labs and hair and how to mitigate that, to keep the house a bit cleaner.
Every day, I'm sure there's like, oh my gosh, and just like, yeah, I know.
Well, with my physical disabilities, vacuuming every day, it was not an option. So we
Right.
ended up getting a Nito robotic vacuum. And it totally was a life changer for us.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
So that was worth it?
Yeah, it totally worth it. Robotic vacuum all the way.
Okay, I already kind of recapped your email on this video I'm doing. So they kind of have a little bit of idea of what's going on. And honestly, I already kind of said it on the video, so you'll watch the video when we load it. It might be a few days before we get it up. But unfortunately, I had a lady that I was doing a work day with, and I've seen it before. There's several times I've seen it, but one time I saw the same type of look on the animal. Okay, the skin. And my question would be, outside of what it looks like, was it there that day before the groomer, right? So you probably know. I mean, those are pretty decent sized red marks and sores and stuff like that.
Absolutely not. His
Right.
skin was in great condition, other than it being a little dry and flaky. So it looked like a mild dandruff in some,
Sure.
Where the longer hair is. But absolutely not. His skin was perfect. And my groomer always, she found like it wasn't an infection, but it could have been if she hadn't caught it, type of deal.
Okay.
So she's found that once or twice. It was food allergy related. So one time she texted me the picture and let me know in the middle of the groom. And the other time she's like, "Yep, it's on the mile one. Here it is, and we'll treat it." So she was always good. If he had any of that on his body, she would have immediately said, "Whoa, I wonder what happened. What's going on? I need to talk to her before we, continue."
Right.
But he had nothing on him. He was perfectly fine. I was kind of, that gut feeling as he was ready to walk out. He came out and saw it was her, and
kind of hesitant then, or?
Yeah, he was hesitant, and that worried me. And she had told me a few grooms back, his head she leaves a wetter because he hates having his ears dealt with and dried. And I know that for a fact because thanks to food allergies, he from his old food, he was getting chronic ear infections. So I said, "Don't bother with them. I'll put a good ear wash in from the vet when you're done."
Okay.
And we'll stay in the rest of the day, especially during the winter. We didn't go out in the day of grooming, just to give him a chance for his head to dry. So that was common. So she would give him a good bath, but, towel dried his head, but didn't deal with the blow dryer in his head.
Sure.
So he was apprehensive. In the month before, it was the same thing. He was a little apprehensive, but Dee, when he is a service dog, he comes into the bathroom with me. I mean, he's always with me. And I got him close to the door and I said, "Okay, back," and he didn't want to come in. So that didn't quite bother me because I'm like, yeah, he gets kind of apprehensive about, a bath, but my inside.
Your gut feeling, we have a gut feeling, that sick instinct,
Yes, the last two times. And he came back after his groom. Now, I want you to know that I did sit through his very first grooming because as a service dog, they're valuable.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I don't know. You've been in. Oh, it's my hubby. He'll be good. And so, I got along with her. She was great. And for this whole year, she's been grooming him. We've had a great relationship. No problems, no issues, absolutely nothing. So it really kind of raised, not a red flag, but it was like, oh, I just felt bad. I'm like, oh, gosh, he hates baths, and I make him get a bath once a month, but I can't physically do it. So,
Sure.
I'm like, okay. And when he came back after his hour, he was very happy to see me. I paid her, and then she had left. We didn't chat much, and she had gone. And he came back out of my bedroom maybe within a half an hour, and that is when his behavior began. And it was enough that is going on with him, and I couldn't figure it out. He came in from his groom fine. So my husband came home probably within an hour, less than an hour, because I said, get him on the bed and we need to really go over him. And we did. And the first line we found was around his neck on one side. Almost, those abuse photos where you see dogs with embedded collars?
Yeah.
That's where we saw the redness, as if he had a collar on, but it didn't go all the way around, but it was just on that one side. And I went, oh my gosh, what the heck happened in his room? And then and my husband's like, oh my gosh, look at his chest. Because at first I thought he maybe fell off the table.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it happen in your videos, but I'm like, I don't know if that's a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. It is a possibility.
And it's such tight quarters in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, once we saw his chest got it really bad, and then my husband found another line under his right leg, and he said it's almost as if he could have fallen out of the tub or something. It was just, Dee Dee, I was angry, and I immediately, texted her, and I'm like, I am,
something's up. What happened? Right.
Yeah, there's something going on. I said, number one, did you use any type of brand new product on him you haven't done before? Did you groom him a different way? Did he have an issue on the table? Did anything happen, or was it a normal, typical groom like always? She's like, yeah, it was nothing happened. She goes, I'm really sorry he's not feeling well. And I sent her the photos, and she was like, she said I put a cap full of aloe in his shampoo because he had some dryness. But aloe
is a soothing.
Aloe.
It's very soothing and soft and no chemical.
And if he was going to react, it wouldn't have been in these lines.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
would appear to us to be narrow lines. And I know the pictures I sent weren't all that great.
Sure.
But it was the best we could do, that it was dark by then.
Right.
But it was much worse, and it was much worse when you looked. Obviously, if it was that bad, we would have run to the emergency vet.
But enough. Okay, you're right. So if you have an open wound, you're going to go to the emergency vet.
Very different.
If you have a sore, you're kind of like, well, let's just play it out. It'll probably be healing, but it's nothing to spend $1,000 on to go to, right? But something still happened though, right?
Something still happened. I sent some photos to our very good friend who's the vet tech.
The vet tech, yep.
And I said, girl, what do you think this is going on? She said it could be a skin reaction. As this is all of, and mind you, I am having emergency surgery in a few short hours.
Right.
So I was very ill. So we had given him the Benadryl, and he had felt better, and the redness had already started to lighten in some of his areas.
You think that's from the Benadryl?
Well, from the Benadryl or from the time.
I was going to say, it could be just time, just healing.
The rare disease I have has to deal with anaphylaxis, so I'm and I had a boxer die from an allergic reaction to a mosquito. I'm well versed in allergies, so my mind the Benadryl definitely eased the discomfort because he was much more comfortable. But I think it was more time because it didn't fully resolve it. And if it was an allergy or a reaction, I would have expected a larger resolution with 50 milligrams of Benadryl in him.
Right.
But he was more comfortable. We got up, and he was still eating, drinking. He was still at my side. Of course, I don't work a sick dog, so it was like, okay, let's go to bed. And then we got up in the morning, and he was totally fine in behavior. He was back to his old self. He still had slight red areas, but most of it you couldn't see. There were just like the darkest were lighter, but like there were only a couple of the plan was to get him to the vet when I was released from surgery later that morning. And then, as I told you, I never made it home
Right.
for that
Right.
night. For 2 nights I ended up being there. But I had the kids, our kids are adults, so I had him repeat the Benadryl. We had given him another dose in the morning before we left. And one of our kids was home with him all day anyway. So he was totally fine and playing and came back to his normal self. So we knew he wasn't injured, because if he was injured, I would have known. He wouldn't have rebounded that fast.
Agreed. Agreed.
Because
So
that's how he is. Every dog's different, but this is how this dog is.
right.
So yeah, and we had taken the pictures. So by the time I was home from the hospital, everything is resolved. Even the very next day, when we checked in with our kids a few times, they're like, Hunter's totally fine. He's playing, eating, that sort of thing. So, yeah, actually, my husband went and checked on him the first night in the hospital, and he's like, there's no redness at all, and he's totally fine. So we were happy he resolved quickly. But when we took him to the vet the next time, a couple of weeks later, and showed him the photos and discussed it with him, and I don't know, he's a vet. He doesn't groom dogs. But I said, I don't know what happened, but I explained the situation, and he said it almost looks like a dog could have tried to get out of its tub but slipped. He said, I've seen that happen before, but in the end, we never knew what happened. I guess what upset me is that something happened and there was no explanation on that side.
Right.
And so we already had our appointment was standing every month. I canceled. I said, we're gonna do it from home.
Right.
And that's what we've been doing.
Right. So there's a couple things that I think that you guys have already kind of tried to weigh and outweigh.
Yeah.
Of what happened, right?
Yeah.
So I can kind of tell you for sure that, hold on, I got a little girl here. What is she doing? I can kind of tell you that through my experience, there was this one, hold on, let me put my sucky down. There was this one lady who I had kind of I used to do work, I would do a working interview before I hired somebody. And there was one lady who I said, had worked for me for a couple hours, and she brush burned a dog, German Shepherd, to a point where she was still brushing when I walked over and said, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?" You know.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my gosh, you have to stop." And I was like, "I'm so sorry, you have to leave right now." Like I was so her resume had pets on it, dogs on it, and at that point I was just like, "Oh, you got to go. I'm so sorry. I have to let you go right now." And it was so raw. I mean, it was under the back hiney of the leg, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, how can you keep digging and brushing?" And I literally said that to her, and then I asked her to leave. So I do know what brush burn looks like. I actually also saw another brush burn situation at a outdoor event. And they come and do toenail trim, and then they also use the veterinarian that I'm following and do vaccinations and stuff like that. And I had like a Pomeranian dog. This lady was holding her dog to get vaccinations, and then she was asking me a question about getting a collar for her dog. And then I happened to see underneath like the tummy area, where the skin seems to be more sensitive. The skin, I feel like, on a dog that's pretty sensitive is under the tummy, back hiney legs, and under the neck. All that's a different kind of skin. Okay, it's very it's very soft. It's like giving yourself a hickey if you scratch yourself too much on your neck. So the second time I saw a brush burn real bad was on this Pomeranian, and she wasn't using me to do anything. I don't even think I did a nail trim that day, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at the neck." And I showed it. I feathered the hair, and I showed it to her because it was on a light tan brown Pomeranian. And she was holding the dog, and she goes, "Oh my gosh." I was like, "Dude, look at all this." And the veterinarian that we were all at an outdoor event, the day after, she had actually gone to a groomer. So we find out. And the veterinarian goes, "Oh yeah, that's pretty bad. That's, it'll heal fine, but it's pretty bad." And I called it right there. I was like, "That is completely brush burned. That's when you take a bristle brush and you're too heavy-handed and you brush for too long, you burn the skin. As if, and this is something you can try at home. I always say, try it, everything at home on yourself, right? So you take your bristle brush and just brush where, not the top of your forearm, the bottom of it, where it's softer skin. So brush there a few times and you'll have a lot of raking lines from your brush.
Oh my gosh, you mentioned that in a video, Dee Dee, that I watched, and you talked about brush burns. I forgot what type of dog. Like I said, I poured into all your videos.
Right.
Oh my word. And you said brush burn, and I said to my husband, I'm watching this groomer on YouTube, my favorite groomer, and she said about brush burns can be easy to do if you're not paying attention to what you're doing.
Right. Or heavy-handed. Like some people are heavy-handed, like really pushing it. People are like, Dee Dee, you're just pounding the dog. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? The edge of my clippers is barely actually touching the skin. The way my own technique, because I'll do my own arm. I'll shave my own arm. I'm like, this doesn't hurt me, But yeah, you're right.
Do you think that's what the pictures look like? I thought so, but after I saw that video, I'm like, I got to send those pictures to Dee Dee, because
wow, yeah.
I wonder if that's what that is.
My gut feeling is that. Again, I was telling the YouTube channel, I'm going to tell you, we weren't there. You and I both don't have the facts. We really don't have the facts. And even mine or a veterinarian or a vet tech or anybody all they have, the only people that are going to know what happened is the dog and that person. And at the end of the day, we can just assume. So one, if let's just say, if you brush burn a dog by that evening, it's going to look a lot better. So that German Shepherd going home, me telling them, watch it. I want you to Neosporin it tonight. I want you to keep it dry. The next day, probably healing. Okay. Could it turn into an infection? Of course. You could have a bristle brush that has a bacteria on it, and when you're brushing until you see blood, you obviously broken the skin. So you could have an infection pop up. If it doesn't even pop up, it'll just heal like a scrape on your skin. But what you're saying and what I'm hearing and what I'm disappointed in is if something did happen and not being able to talk about it. So that's unfortunate. But I'm gonna tell you some other things. So the next thing is, you guys giving Benadryl to probably ease the dog, like just kind of made him kind of loopy, like, I'm going to rest now,
Yeah, made him a little sleepy.
Yeah, I'm sleepy and loopy and want to lay down and just not wanting to do a lot of movement, which is fine because you knew about the skin allergies and the chronic ear infection, so that was your first go-to, which is fine. But if it was a skin allergy, I think you would see more of it all the time. It would be like, hey, watch it. But you kind of said that she caught it a couple times before. So if it was a skin allergy, then that it could also do the same thing that kind of looked like too. But I tell you, that lady brushing that German Shepherd, she brushed it until there was skin or hair missing. And I was like, oh my gosh, get out. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, how could you keep going? Okay. And I was not just standing right over her. She has a background in animals and was working with dogs. So why would I think I would have to train her how to brush a dog? So there's things that I've learned in my career too, like, oh, okay, everybody doesn't know what they know unless you really watch them first to make sure they do mean what they say, even on a resume, right? The other thing is, can a dog, I have this one dog, and we actually did a video, but she said, Dee Dee, don't post it, because some of the mean people on YouTube posting comments, she was like, I don't want my kids, harmed because of some of those rude people. Who knows at what level they'll take it to. But I've been grooming her Pomeranian for many years, and he literally is not trustable. It took me 2 times, I think it was 2 times, to learn the hard way that if I even just turned her even a little tiny groom loop loose, a little bit, he will jump. And so some people would be out there, that groom loop's too tight. I'm like, no, shut up. It's not. I mean, I've let that dog jump my table twice. I'm never going to let another dog jump ever again. Okay. So can it happen? Absolutely. Especially a big dog. I've had a big dog, lean too far and just put their foot down and miss the edge of the table. And all of a sudden they're kind of almost hanging there if you want to say, and you've got to run over to the other side of the table, grab them up. Okay. I'll have a big dog, neck down, not wanting to raise his head. And literally, I'm like, I have to keep holding his jaw up because I'm very aware that the groom loop will cause that rope burn looking thing. Yeah. And the only reason I know that is there's a Shih Tzu I had groomed, and he brought pictures to me when he got his dog groomed somewhere else. And he showed me the pictures and said, this is what we had gone through somewhere else, Dee Dee. And there was literally looked like I hung the dog. Like, not me, but someone else had hung that dog, sent it home. It looked like hickeys all over the neck, hair missing, and a groom loop around the neck, imprinted, and it was red. So if you had a lot of that, that is definitely something happened with the groom loop. Either he hung himself for a while, and I mean a good minute, because 1 second hang, you know, like you run over to the other side, that's not long enough to cause he was either holding his neck down for a good 40 minutes, or we just don't know. But a rope imprint around the neck doesn't happen in 1 second. Okay, it doesn't happen in 5 seconds. It's a longer time of that hanging, that impression of putting your neck around this loop and holding it there at a real tight hold for a while.
Well, I truly think, after hearing you here and on your other video talking about the brush burn, because the one that came around his neck went right down his chest. And that's the only reason why I thought, well, there's no way somebody could strangle him and
burn all the way down, right? And burn all the way. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have a feeling that it was, I know I'm pretty sure she uses a Furminator. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. If you do the Furminator too hard, you will rip the skin. Yes. You will shred the skin, actually.
I just can't remember if when I was grooming, when she was grooming the first time when I sat in on the entire groom, if she used one. But she had all the different brushes and, razors and combs and all that kind of thing.
Oh, so yeah, you can really hurt hard. I don't know if you've heard me. I'll be grooming with David, and will you be using the Furminator? And I'll say, just go lightly. I don't know if you've caught me saying that to David or someone helping me, and we're Furminating.
Yeah, well, you talk about that. See, our organization does not like Furminators on the labs. And so I actually sold it before I even brought my service dog home, because that was their stance. So I never used one. Right. Until we had to groom them last month for the first time, and I'm like, we got to get some of this I don't know if it's undercoat, the light fuzzy. That's I'm learning.
Sure.
So I did get a Furminator, and I had you yelling in my ear the whole time, saying, "Be sure you go light. Be sure you go light."
Really? So you remember that?
Oh my gosh, I take such good care of my dogs mean so much.
Right.
When they're working, when they're retired from service work, they give me a better quality of life through the work they do. And I have to give them the utmost care to be sure that they're happy and healthy. They always come first. Like I said, he had his service dog vest must have got him under his armpit. So we got him on antibiotics, and we didn't leave the house for 4 days, 4 or 5 days, because it was more important he fully heal and
right.
go completely away
right.
before I would go out. And
wow, that's so amazing.
I wanted to be very careful, and I said, well, I remember TV saying go light, short strokes. So my husband, I said to my husband, pay attention while I do this.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
And, I kept checking his skin to make sure, but I was going so light. I probably could have done a little more, but I was happy with what I did. And I thought, for a first time with a Furminator, he and I both, did well. We were right. We like to always end anything we do on a positive note. So he did great. I mean, he gets in the tub for me and sat there nice while I Furminated. And I used the groom zoom, and he loves that. I mean, he had a great bath. Good. Like my husband said, we can keep this up. We'll do it ourselves. And he was so upset by what he saw that night. He said, never again.
Right.
We will do our own grooming. And when I used his clippers, he didn't know at the time, but I did admit to him today.
That's hilarious.
But I said, I had to. His hair is so long on his feet.
Yeah.
I want it under his pad.
Right.
Because we're out in public every day. So I said, I just trimmed it up. I said, unless you let me borrow yours, I need to go on Dee Dee's website and buy some. He goes, you better buy in the zone because I'm not sure. I put my order in.
That's hilarious.
So I can't tell you how much I appreciate your help through not only your videos, but even your reply to my emails so fast, so I'm able to get what I need. Now, I am not convinced. I am going to give him a summer cut, but maybe if you happen to have a lab you can do a summer cut on in the near future. You can.
There's one out there. There's one out there. It's a blonde lab, a white lab. And she is really old. I haven't seen her for a minute. She may have already passed away, but she is on my YouTube. And I want to say I did her twice. And, you know, people are like, I can't believe you shaved the lab. And each time that the owner comes in, he's a realtor and he plays in a band. Him and his wife are amazing people. And I ask him every time, you love it, right? And he goes, absolutely, wouldn't have any other thing. So if you do a summer shave down, go ahead.
Yeah, if it doesn't bother him, I've always heard you never shave down. And I don't know the size you gave me. I don't think it's a short
nope.
shave anyway.
It's going to be a military haircut if you use a 10 or the 7. If you try to do longer, it's just a really hard, tough, choppy, ugly coat. Well, I can send you a guard, but it'll be really, really choppy because just the way the hair on a lab is if you shave it. So if you do the 7 down, you should be okay, but you might find that going through the hair, starting from the haunches in the back and doing a 7 reverse really carefully will give you such a nice feel and nice looking cut. But I'm going to give you a couple different options for shedding dogs. One of them is to shave down, which I would go for all day long because out here in Texas, it's 104 degrees on a hot day. So summer cuts are amazing. And most of the time, if you do a summer cut, you don't go back. You just keep going. You just every 6 months, you shave down and then there's hardly any shedding half the year. Then the next.
And the shedding isn't so much like my issue. We'll live with the shedding. If it's something that will benefit him, like today, the house is only 80. Turn the AC on, but he's trying to find the coldest spot on our hardwood floor every hour.
Right.
And I'm like, geez.
Gosh. So definitely do yourself a favor. Take the 10 blade and go down with the hair and do that tummy. I always say that I always shave the tummy real good so that the dogs can lay down and feel the coolness of the floor fast.
Yeah.
Do that first and see if that helps him. If not, then maybe attempt to do that summer cut.
Okay.
I'm going to try to find that summer cut for you and just send you the link so you don't have to go through 600 videos and try to find it.
Okay.
But I think if you're in my channel and within my channel, search lab LAB, I think it'll pop up. I think I've got 2 labs, the same one, shaving her down, and it just looks great. It looks really good. It's kind of just like I just did the golden retriever the other day, shaved down, and again, that was a realtor owner too. He's wearing a red bandana on the picture. Okay, so then let me think. Then the next thing is a simple easy fix which may not work if he's really hot, is to put a t-shirt on him, tie like your dad's t-shirt. Put dad's t-shirt on him, tie it at the dog's waist, and then a lot of that hair will actually stay within the shirt. You change it out every day. Shake it outside and put a new one on. So then he gets his own daddy shirts. He's got 2 or 3 of them that you cycle through and shake out, right?
Yeah, that'd be hard with a
Yep.
service dog just because he's got to wear his vest
Yep.
over all that hair. But like I had said to you, he had the longest hair out of all the labs. And
right.
I wondered if that would affect him in the summer. In this summer, in the warmer weather, we tended to get out more than we did last summer. And I've noticed that he's not a fan of the warmer weather.
Right. So we can use you as a tester, and I'll do a recap. Like next time, we'll talk in a couple months and see if you actually do a summer cut. You know how it worked out. But this is the thing I always hear, and I can hear 2 people talking to me. People that are groomers that say don't ever shave a coat like that, and then on the other side is the owner that says, "Oh gosh, when I shave a summer cut on my golden, he loves it. I can tell he loves it. He's super cool." he can go outside and play ball and not have any issues. So the other person who's in my head says you shouldn't shave that coat because the coat works for the dog. But if you, once you do that shave down, you are going to see that I don't care what people think. There is a difference. I don't know how to explain that difference to those people, but if you don't ever shave a lab or don't shave a husky, you'll never know because you don't live with that animal. It is the owner that tells me, Dee Dee, people that come like the lab that I'm going to send you to watch, that owner found me and said, I'm ready for a shave down. The only reason I came to Dee Dee was to have that one-on-one 1 hour experience. They've been getting shaved, that dog, its whole life. So I said, can you see a difference? I always ask. They always say, yes, they see a difference. The dog is cooler. And I'm like, well, that's not what the other groomers would say. And he goes, well, they don't own the dog. And so that's the truth, is that you will see the dog is going to be cooler.
And that's what I care about. You know,
his comfort.
To be comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And I wish there were other groomers. I thought we'd get a better experience having a mobile groomer come into the house once a month. And there is absolutely no way on God's green earth I will take a service dog into a groom shop to leave them there for an hour. If I was sitting, in the shop for the hour, that's one thing. But the way most of the groomers I've seen work is you drop them off and pick them up 4 hours later.
Or more. Mm-hmm, exactly.
Or more. And for me and other service dog owners, that is not going to happen.
Right.
It can't. So I thought I might as well, learn what we can do to take the best care of him that we can.
Right.
Like I said, we have my wonderful vet tech friend who cuts his nails. So I just have to focus on his
just upkeep, maintenance, and if you do this,
upkeep and maintenance, and his ears. I saw it. Now I will not pluck dogs. He should not have ear hair to pluck, girl. He's got a lot.
What? No, I don't think. No way. It's not the ear hair. It has to be ear hair that you pluck. That's actually in the ear canal. That's the stuff.
That's what you're plugging. Okay.
Yeah, he's got ear hair, bushy, probably all around his ear.
That's true. Mm-hmm. You're right. It's right in the.
Yep.
Right,
as soon as you open the flap up, it's all like a bush, right?
Oh, and it's so long, and he's had so many different ear infections, and I think we cured it with a food change. But yeah, with all of that long fur, it's keeping his ear moister.
Yes. So I challenge you. Go ahead.
I bought those small face scissors that you can trim ears with.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep that well trimmed.
Do that.
Hoping that's going to help.
It will, and then you'll learn. I want you really to play with the whole ear flap. There's a little piece there's a little piece of flap skin on the inside of the ear, but it's on the flap that you can stick your thumb in. And most groomers or most people cutting will actually nick that. It's a little pocket, okay? I want you to really play with the ear like you're studying it. The whole outside flap, inside flap, all that, and find that little pocket and stay away from it.
I will before I cut anything.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, we're super careful.
Good.
So,
and then what?
I even have my friend here to oversee before I do it. So. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then what I would also do is once you learn it and feel more safe, take your 10 blade and don't heavy hand it. Don't take all the hair in that bushy. Take it in stages in case he's used to it and then he doesn't. If you shave it all, there was this one golden retriever. I shaved that bushiness out. And Mom said, "Oh, let's not do that again." And I said, "Okay, you got it," because it was always so compact there that once I shaved it, it was nice and cool, and that dog flapped its ears like for the rest of the night. So that dog told us she didn't like it so breezy in the ear. So it wasn't like ear pulling. It was literally like a golden retriever that you open the flap and there's all this hair in the way for the ear canal. However, you've got it right. An ear infection is like humidity.
Yeah.
So the ear is, to me, if you're ever sitting there watching TV, put your hand under your dog's ears and you will feel it's probably the hottest part of the body of the dog.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So then imagine there's just a little moisture in there. That's just a straight yeast infection breeding, okay? So if you can get some of that cooler, absolutely, that will help your ear infection problems.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think just doing doing a lighter coat for him for the summer would be helpful too, because we have a creek along our back part of the yard, so ticks are rampant.
Oh, yeah.
So we're constantly doing checks through his long fur and making sure
Oh,
we don't miss
good. Yeah.
anything, and yeah.
Yeah, make sure make sure you do that.
Definitely.
All right, girl. Well,
I got
thank you
my
so
disease
much.
from our lawn, Dee Dee, so I'm paranoid about everything that goes on with this guy.
Aw.
But thanks for the info. You really opened my eyes to grooming, dog, even additional dog behavior. So I'm really looking forward to watching more of your videos and getting our stuff in the mail.
Woohoo! Thank you for your order, and thank you for making it so fast. I know I was like, get that in so we can mail it. And you did, so thank you. David was like, she ordered. I was like, great. We got to package it. So I really appreciate you. Thanks for taking the time to find me, watching me, really caring about my opinion on your situation. If there's ever anything that I can do for you, please reach out. Don't hesitate.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kelly.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, you guys. It's Dee Dee Croy with My Favorite Groomer on YouTube. All right, so we have some really cool news, and I want to share it with you. Okay, so for those of you who I'm emailing, talking to, and you are near Las Vegas, so June 25th, 6th, 7th, we will be offering some one-on-one group sessions with Dee Dee and some one-on-one private sessions with Dee Dee. So it just depends on how much room I still have left. So if you go to our myfavoritegroomer.com/shop, just hover over the shop icon and go to business services. You'll be able to book it there. But I really, it's such a one-on-one. If you want that 1 hour with me, I would prefer you call me or text me or email me and say, hey, Dee Dee, how do I book this one-on-one? And we will get on the phone and actually reserve you your slot. There will be a couple ways that you can reserve your slots, so get me on the phone. Go to myfavoritegroomer.com, get the number there, give me a call, text me, or email me, and I will call you back in a decent hour. But we are going to have some one-on-one times available. Some of them are going to be on group sessions. Depends on the price that you're going to come out there for. But come with your questions. A lot of you are learning how to groom. A lot of you are grooming already. A lot of you have this list of questions you've emailed me. If you want me to talk to you about it face-to-face, I'm offering my time. So let me know. And if you want to be a part of the group that's hanging out together in Vegas during that time frame, if you happen to be going to Vegas for that same time frame, the 25th of June through the 28th-ish, right around there, let me know. We'll all get the same t-shirts. So if you want to represent My Favorite Groomer or the Dog Upstand, please let me know. I'm going to have some t-shirts ready so that you can order them. You've got to order them. Probably it takes a week and a half to get the t-shirts. So if you are interested in getting the t-shirts so we can all, don't you all love that feeling like when we were at Pasadena and we all had the same shirt? I know I did. A group of people that we believe the same thing, we all see the same way, and we just are a part of that same, something identifying us as that same, the same feeling of just love and adoration, and I just loved that. So if you guys want to wear a shirt, let me know. I'm gonna start building my t-shirt now, and the link will be on my email. So if you email me or write me, then I'll get it to you. And those of you, there were so many of you that did not go to Pasadena and you still bought a shirt and you wore it the days that we were at Pasadena in your home, and I can't say thank you enough for that. Just know the bond is there, the love is there, and I appreciate you all so much. Thanks for supporting me and David. And thanks for doing everything you do for us, supporting us, shopping with us, sharing us. Those of you who don't have a pet, if you are in the Vegas area, by all means, I still want to meet you. So reach out. Keep in touch, because I don't know that I will post a lot about the Vegas trip, but if you want to meet, there's something that I'm going to do. There's going to be some group activities that we'll do, or at least one major group dinner or something like that. I would love to just be in the same room as you. I care about you all so much, and you are the reason I'm here. So if you are interested in that, please, by all means, shoot out an email, a text, or just get a hold of me. You will not be invited if I do not hear from you. So I'm not going to publicize where I'm going to be, what we're doing to the world, because it is just definitely something I want to, like, your little family, you want to keep them close and with love and care about people. So I will be letting you know. If you directly contact me, I will let you know what we're doing. So I need to know who you are, that type of thing. I want to keep everyone safe as I can, okay? In my care, that is. If you're going to hang out with me, I want to do the best I can, just like I do with the animals, do the best I can for you guys, so that we can all share. And you have to have, if you're watching me, you can't be a hate talker. You can't be a negative person. You have to be open, willing to learn. You have to be less judging. I know you all know who I'm talking about, because the calls that I get that people really care about other people, or want to learn for themselves, or want to learn for their own dogs, or want to learn for their own business, who are uplifting, who are positive, who don't talk shit behind your back, as another groomer, who really stand up for the right of the animal or the best that you can see someone doing. Those type of people, if we're all in the same way of thinking, that's you know who I'm talking about, because you have reached out to me and I have helped you, and we have made so much stride, and we're talking hundreds and thousands of people that I have touched and helped personally, and not to mention all the ones that have never called, who have never needed my help, but have found the YouTube videos so helpful in their own world. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being emailing me your stories. I really appreciate them, and I do take them to heart, and I make a connection with each and every one of you that does reach out. It may take me a month or two to get to you if you are only doing it through YouTube. And one day when there's millions and millions of comments, I may not be able to really touch base with you. So please, by all means, if you have a real question, if you have a question about your tools, about your pets, if you need my opinion, you've got to email me. Like, you've got to take it to an email level, okay, to get a fast response. And it may be just the facts of things or my opinions written out. It may not be a very long, detailed thing, because I'm just doing a lot for many people. But anyways, let's go back. If you want to meet with me, if you want to have a one-on-one, they are on my business services page on my website, myfavoritegroomer.com/shop under business services. You can book it there. I would prefer you save a few bucks if you book it with me directly. So you'll have to call me or email me or text me, and then I will send you an app. You can pay through the app, and then we can definitely set up a time, either a private or a group session. It is going to be small groups of people meeting. I don't plan on doing huge groups, a few small groups each night. And if the private one-on-ones take over, well, then they take over. So make your call and make your booking quickly. And David will probably load this as soon as possible so that y'all that are going to be in Las Vegas during that time frame can actually book it. One last thing I'd like to ask out there is, if you're watching and you're a groomer and you have a salon in Las Vegas, I really want to talk to you. If you have maybe if you don't even have a salon, but if you have that aggressive dog, a salon would be a better place to do this. But if you have that aggressive dog in Las Vegas, please reach out to me. We can use that situation for training in one of our groups. Excuse me, I burped. Group sessions. But if I can help you while I'm out there, by all means, I would love to connect with you. So if that's you, you're like, oh my gosh, my dog is so aggressive or so hard to groom, I can't figure it out, things like that. Give me a call, okay? And we will talk. If you have a salon and you are watching me and you are a fan and you think the same way I do as a groomer, and you get what I'm saying and the work that I do, then call me. My number is on the website at myfavoritegroomer.com. And again, if you come to these group sessions, I am looking for, who I'm looking for, the people who love, have care, who are not negative, and will support others. And you come with questions, and you come with the open-mindedness that each of us, including myself, we don't know everything. And there's way more ways to do one thing than there is my way. So if you come with an open mind, sharing, and no judging. Judging means like, oh, you're ugly, or you're fat, or I hate you, or I don't like the way you do that, screw you. No, that's not the way I function. That's not the way I think. I'm very direct, truthful, firm, loving, and I will be there for you when you need. I'm the like that friend that you've always wanted, right? The one that's never going to let you down. I don't turn on my back on you and talk shit about you. I may use your situation as an example to someone just like you, but it's always good to know that you have someone, whether it's another groomer that you can call that won't judge you and hate on you, that will answer some questions you might have. And I may not even have all the answers, but at least you can sit down at a round table and chit chat about how you should do something better and how you should approach something. That's how you should come across with other people, other groomers, other human beings in life. So if you are interested in booking with me, please give us a call, give us an email, shoot out an email. But thank you so much, you all. You mean so much to me, and I'm just so grateful to be able to help each and every one of you. So we'll talk to you later. Please book.